Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you very much for joining the Leadership Matters Live number 5 live stream podcast and video. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. It's certainly been a very long, very difficult, very hard week. But I guess the same could be said for pretty much any week in the last year to 2 years. Life certainly is hitting very hard right now. And like one of my favorite people, Rocky Balboa, says, life is not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. I can go on and go with the whole quote, but I won't do that right now. When I first started doing my podcasting, it was called Things That Matter. And the premise in that was, if it matters to me, it has to matter to other people out there. So I was okay with putting my crap and my junk out there. Lately in my life, I see a lot of people and I hear a lot of people that are going through a lot of mental health struggles, stress, anxiety, depression, suicide. And frankly, my heart is simply breaking for all of them. I wish there was something more that I can do for the people around me and for all the people that are going through so many mental health issues. But the best that I can do is be here and talk about it and use my voice and just simply be honest and open about the things that I'm going through and things that I know other people are going through. In my little corner of the world, and frankly, in my little corner of this building, all I can say is I hear you, I see you, and I love you. And I don't think it's too much to go ahead and say that. I'm not here to promise any answers or promise any solutions, but I can tell you this. I understand. I personally myself have dealt with plenty of mental health issues, and frankly, all of us are dealing with mental health issues in some way, shape, or form. I've been there. I've been to the point where I've been tucked under the covers and don't get out of bed for hours. I've spent the full day in bed pretty much just watching TV, and not ashamed to say it, in a bottle. It is what it is. We all have those days. We all have those moments. And we have to keep moving forward and pushing through our struggles. That's what we're here to do tonight. We're here to talk about this openly and honestly. And with me tonight, again, my good friend, my partner, Peter Miranda, who just last week completed the 4x4 by 48 challenge. And I know something that is very important to him is his mental health. And I know with the challenges that he is going through in his life, he is doing these things very much to support his mental health and take care of some of the things that are going on in his life. So with that, I'm going to bring Peter Miranda on. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're just going to get honest with it and talk about some of the struggles that are out there, and hopefully some of the solutions that we can implement in our lives to alleviate some of the mental health struggles that we're in. Peter, what's up, man? Welcome back to Leadership Matters Live. How you been, bro?
What's up, Rob? How are you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. We got a couple good bald heads going on here.
This is the bald head show.
Yeah. We're gonna change it. We're gonna have to change it to the bald head show. Very nice.
Definitely.
So we're all good, man. Hey, I'm glad to see you're doing well. Very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
Very inspired by what you went through last week. 48 miles, is that correct?
48 miles from Thursday 4 p.m. till Saturday 4 p.m.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible. So first off, I know you trained for that quite a bit and you went through it. Just tell me a little bit about how it went. Like what were your nerves? How was the anxiety leading up to it and all that?
Well, I started the challenge one day earlier. I had a little personal situation, a little obstacle that changed the schedule. But once it was go time, I mean, I can break it down in certain intervals. Overall, the overall experience is very, very exhausting. But in different increments, like I said, in 4 different levels of the 48, the challenges were huge in terms of the brain. Sleeping. The biggest challenge wasn't running. I think when your body's stimulated and so motivated at the goal, you're not even looking at the physical aspect. You're looking at what's going to happen between those 4 hours that's going to get you to get ready for the next one. So it was a huge mental challenge. Huge.
So I know you did some training. Were you doing anything leading up to this where you would run multiple times in one day?
Yeah. I had a few days where I did 12 miles in 3 different sets of 4. My highest day before was 16 miles in one day, and I think 24 miles in 2 days. So I didn't want to ever try to do the actual max because just to try to keep my legs fresh. But in my mind, I said, listen, if I can do 16 in one day, I could do 24. Now the whole thing was the biggest obstacle was the sleep.
Yep.
Because there's not a lot of sleep, and there is no real sleep between sessions.
Right.
It's like a light sleep. It's a lot of recovery, but I sent you some videos, but we'll get to that later. But
yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute.
After mile 24, it's like a little bit. You start getting a little delirious. You're like, what am I doing? I can sleep this off.
So was it lonely? I mean, I have to imagine it was lonely, and that's something that that connects with what we're dealing with our mental health challenges, especially during the pandemic. Loneliness, right? Did you feel like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? What's going on? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm running. I'm on my God knows whatever mile.
Yeah. Well, the whole obstacle changed. Like I said, I was supposed to go to Atlanta for this. Like I said, certain obstacles changed. I ended up doing it in New York. The first 16 miles, I was freestyling it. I was running 4 miles anywhere around where I lived, and there was no destination in mind. It was more like, I'm gonna run 4 miles wherever it takes me, just to give myself some sense of freedom. Like, okay, I don't want to think about this. The hardest part of the first 16 miles was that 4 a.m. run, because I ran in 28-degree weather, and that Friday morning, the wind was insane. I felt like David Goggins was calling like it was scary. It was a little frightening at 4 a.m. running.
So I got to be honest, like, we were worried about you. I mean, it was so we spoke last Wednesday night on here, and I was chatting with Michelle. Unfortunately, Michelle cannot be here with us tonight, but I was chatting with her last Thursday and Friday, and we saw your updates on Instagram. And we're seeing, oh my God, like, he's at it already. Like, what, it's freezing out there. I don't even want to walk to the car. And you're out there running 4 miles every 4 hours, like, oh man, like that's gotta be, that's tough stuff, man.
It was tough. It was definitely tough.
So tell me a little bit about some of the high points and some of the low points.
Up until mile 24, everything was really good. My body was responding. I got lucky. I was actually able to see my chiropractor during this real quick.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
It's funny because I had scheduled him to do it the day before, and my back was really just stiffening out. So I was able to get my back cracked, reset. Something somebody else could have done for me, but just to check on me. But after mile 24, the cramping set in, and I was laying down. I caught a wicked Charlie horse, and my times were slowing down. For my first 6 runs, most of the times were like 9 minutes, 9:30. Everything was kind of like around below 10 minutes per mile. So that was the pace I was trying to keep. Because my first mile I ran, I was almost under 9 minutes, and they tell you don't go so hard because there's so many rounds. So I said, let me keep everything fresh. And after mile 24, the body started to struggle, and I want to say at mile 32, my body fully almost broke down, and that was around 12 o'clock at night, maybe. That was like 12.
Okay.
So, the best way to break that down was, during those 4 miles after mile 2, I had to literally walk for like 4 blocks because it wasn't my stomach. Like, it felt like something was churning, and I said to myself, if I don't pace myself, the goal is to complete it. You know, it's the first time event. So you know, I gave out of the 4 miles, I gave myself maybe about 8-9 blocks to walk it off, and I finished jogging, and I finished around 11 minutes, and then from there, everything else is history, man. You know, I got through that, and I slept well.
So in those, I'm assuming by the time you get back home, you really only have about 2.5 hours to get a little shut eye, right? Knock out real quick. You're getting something to eat, I hope.
Yeah,
a lot of water, a lot of bananas, things like that. Hopefully not doing what David Goggins did with just Ritz crackers and protein.
Yeah, we don't want to end up there.
Right? But right, and then you're going through it now. I hope you're staying hydrated throughout the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely.
You're having some physical pain, but it's not leg pain. It's just kind of pain throughout other parts of your body.
Mm-hmm. The legs felt fresh. The one thing I was gonna say, like on the second round, you know, my calves throughout my running the last month, they were starting to tight. Like my calves are really, really big right now. It felt like they were maximizing the skin to the point that I was like, oh God, this isn't, you know, already. But you know, I did stretch, a lot of foam rolling. That's the one thing that if I do it next year, I'll attack certain things before each stretch a little bit better. It was good, surprisingly, for my first time, but you know, I managed to keep the upkeep of my body during each break.
Okay, so as you're going through it, tell me about some of the rough moments, like not physically but mentally. Right? Like, what are you going through? Because Goggins is always talking about, like, you have to be able to answer this question: why am I here? Right?
Yeah.
So anything like that go through your head at that point?
Yeah, those early morning runs, like 4 a.m., 8 a.m. The weather was cold, you know, it's miserable. And then I want to just say, like, accountability. So it's just like I'm running, there's nobody watching me. You know what I'm saying? There's no eyes on you except yourself. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, it's a running challenge. When I started walking around mile 36 for those few blocks, I had to remind myself, this is a running challenge. It's supposed to hurt. You know what I'm saying? If I walk, it kind of defeats the purpose. And you know, there was certain moments of doubt. Not that I couldn't complete it, but complete it in the manner in which I wanted to. I wanted to make it competitive for me. I didn't want to look back and say, oh, I got through it half-assed. I wanted to get through it impressively. Like, oh, you ran all these times. So to me, the goal was finish it and finish it strong.
So those times where you did stop and walk a little bit, I have to assume that you're going through your jogging and you're having this internal battle. Did you have to swallow a little bit of pride just to walk those?
Yeah, I swallowed. I mean, I had ran 35 miles with everything was running, jogging. And when I hit like mile 38, I said, damn it, I gotta walk. And it bothered me so much. And for those blocks, I felt miserable walking. I said, I shouldn't be walking. I said, you know, no matter what, you know, like Goggins says, got to push through it. Find the difference between pain, tired, hurt, know what you're dealing with. And then I said to myself, I'm not going to finish at a pace above 11 minutes. I got on my horse, started running, put the music on, and I found my groove. But I told myself that would be the only time I would walk within that set of miles. I said, no matter what, I'm jogging the rest of the way. And like I said, it feels lonely. It's very cold. It was windy. It's a little depressing. You know, it is a little depressing because it's like, it's only you. It's only you.
Right.
You're the only one doing this.
So to bring that back a little bit, like back before you started running, right? We talked about the book, and I got the book here, right? Of course, it's like, you know, the textbook.
Like gold.
Can't hurt me, right? But you've mentioned before that you started getting into these challenges because you wanted to essentially improve your health, right? Your physical health. You wanted to get out there. You know, it was during the pandemic where people were inside all the time. But you've also mentioned some aspects of your mental health that you feel that you've improved as you've started running.
Oh, absolutely. In terms of my job, you know, I've been a graphic designer for years, about 15 years. And during the whole pandemic, work kind of slowed down. We've all lost a lot in terms of maybe something financial. Um, um, I'm my own boss. I have my own business, and a part of me lost that desire to be artistic, to be creative,
Mm.
to even want to just really improve in my craft. And once I started doing the running, I started noticing that I started exploring other parts of my abilities, and I started, just fine tuning certain things, whether it's trying to get better in drawing, trying to get better with computers, like. And I just noticed that once I felt upbeat, everything else started falling into place. And now that things are getting a little bit better in terms of the job market opening up, some of the stuff that I'm doing right now is it's like some of my best work in the last few years. And people are telling me that they're like, "Wow, like you're putting up some real nice stuff right now."
Nice.
And I'm in a better headspace. I'm in a better headspace.
So it's simply by challenging yourself. And again, we've talked about this before. It's not necessarily challenging yourself all the time physically, but for you and for a lot of people out there, putting themselves through physical challenges has improved other aspects of their lives.
Of course.
Right. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And because I wanted to mention some of the things that contribute to this mental health crisis that we're going through and that we have in our world and in our country right now, right? And I worry about this simply because I look at this list, right? Abuse, trauma, neglect, isolation, stigmas, disadvantages, poverties, and I look at this list and I'm like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm going through half the things on the list. My kids are going through a bunch of the things on the list. Unemployment is a big deal out there. Financial issues, so much of this is contributing to what we're struggling with. And then it's hard to say, look, I'm dealing with all this stuff. Let me go challenge myself physically on something. But it is that mental switch where it's like, look, you don't have to accept this victim mentality status. You have all these things that are definitely happening to you, but you can look inside yourself, master your mind, and figure out how to challenge yourself in some way, shape, or form. And then all those things that you're dealing with, they're not going to go away, but you're going to have the strength to begin to deal with them.
Of course.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's, but I worry about it because, I mean, man, like we got a lot of young kids, and we talked about this last week. Like you have a boy and a girl. I got two boys, right? And we worry about the things that they're going through during this pandemic, especially isolation. There are so many kids of, people of color that are living in poverty, right? People that are unemployed. This stimulus check that is coming through is a big deal for a lot of people, but it may not be enough for some people. People have health conditions that they're not taking care of. They're distracted by the drugs and the alcohol, or they're in this domestic violence situation. So there's so many things out there. And simply put, what you're doing with your challenges is saying you're leading by example and you're leading the way. You're saying, hey, all you got to do is start hitting the pavement and start challenging your own internal stuff and move forward. Keep moving forward. Don't let yourself quit. Right? Now, again, this is how you're doing it, but not how everybody has to do it.
I think if people just took the initiative to put a realistic goal in front of them monthly, weekly, set it, like, set it on paper, write it out, plan it. And if you stick to one, you'll see things grow. Like my goals that I set might seem extreme for other people, but they're not extreme to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like didn't ever think I could run 4 miles in 2 days, and now it's like, okay, now that I've opened up my brain, like God says, like my brain is so evolved. I feel like, wow, 48 miles. Maybe I might wake up one day and I might challenge myself personally and say, I want to go for 70 miles without even telling anybody. I just might go and say, I'm going to run 30 miles today, 40 miles tomorrow. And that to me is a self-accomplishment, and that translates into other things. And I think that's important. What you do physically and mentally to improve yourself, will open up a lot of possibilities. I see too many people just dwelling, a lot of dwelling.
Yeah.
They don't want to uplift themselves, and it's not to be critical, but you got to ask yourself why aren't you willing to elevate?
Right.
It's a personal choice for some, not everybody, for some.
So I want to talk a little bit about, because it just made me think of it, the logo that we have for Leadership Matters. This is the tree of life that we have in this upper right hand corner here, and the premise behind that for me is, if you are not willing to dig deep down into the suffering and the struggle and the darkness, essentially, of your spirit and your soul, then you don't have the opportunity to extend on into heaven, right?
Mhm.
And I have conversations with my brother about this a lot, that if you're going to talk to people, if you're going to try to inspire people, then you better be willing to go to where they are, right? And that's why I have no problem talking about the struggles that I deal with in my life, right? Whether it's, mental health issues. I mean, look, I've been through a mess over the last couple of years, everything from a divorce to the pandemic to living with my ex-wife during quarantine, plus a million of other things that have happened, right? But they're deep, dark things, and you have to be willing to go into that if you're going to be trying to extend and reach on into the upper levels of your life.
Of course.
So don't be afraid of it. Don't hide from it. There's a book, and I think I've mentioned this to you, by a Buddhist monk. I have it here. I got my little collections of books here right now. No Mud, No Lotus. And it's the same premise that Goggins talks about a lot in his book, right? Without that suffering, without that struggle, without that darkness, essentially, there is no happiness,
No.
right? So don't hide from it. Don't shy away from it. Be willing to look it straight in the eye. And essentially that means looking yourself straight in the eye. Look in the mirror like he has with the accountability mirror challenge, right? Stare it down, recognize it, be honest with yourself. And then you can begin to start chipping away at those things that you're struggling with.
Absolutely.
So I mean, he's an inspiration, and it's the truth. So I feel like you are leading the way. You're trying to follow the guidelines that he's set for you, and moving forward and trying to move forward with being an example to your family. Now, you've also dabbled into nonprofit organizations. You're trying to raise money for organizations.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I'm trying to have something active by the summer. I'm gonna start hosting some events with my partners. I'm gonna start doing some family friendly 5Ks,
Nice.
field day events. So I'm looking forward to doing something probably within mid-May, maybe like 1 or 2 events per month. And like I said, hopefully throughout the summer, just get a lot of activity within the tri-state area, and try to build something online so that by the time the school year starts in September, hopefully if we're all back in school and working and being kind of normal again. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just want to see the school year start off and have people having some activities outside of, just the normal 9 to 5 extracurriculars, just different things.
Right. So I wasn't planning on going here, but I want to ask, if I remember correctly, your family has dealt with something significant recently when it comes to mental health. Am I right on that? And you don't have to share much, but I know, we're family, and there's something out there that hit hard recently. Is that correct?
Last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll talk about that a little in vagueness, but like I said,
right.
there was a family tragedy in terms of a family friend losing their son. It's a little personal, but that type of topic is something that I'm kind of seeing everywhere. I'm reading about it. You're seeing it online.
Exactly. And it seems to be a lot, in the last couple of weeks, and again, it's not something you want to talk about so much when it's personal, but even on this side of the camera here, we've dealt with some of that as well. Right. So it's majorly concerning. I was even having a pretty in-depth father-son conversation today And I left the conversation saying to myself, man, oh man, I hope I handled that right. I hope I didn't say anything that might, cause some unneeded stress or anxiety on my side, right? Because it's very difficult to handle. But I guess all I can really say is we're not mental health professionals.
No.
Right. I'm a special education teacher. So, I deal with a lot of students that have disabilities. I don't have any solutions. We don't have any solutions. All we can say is, hey, we're here. We understand. Right. We have compassion for it. And we have to begin to talk openly and honestly about these things. And really the only answer, getting back to some of my older or my religious roots, the only answer is love. Really, you got to show some love for each other, and that doesn't mean that everything has to be fruity and wonderful all the time. But love is difficult. Love means showing up for people. Love means maybe making a phone call where you don't want to make that phone call, sending a text where you weren't normally going to send that text. Just let somebody know that you're thinking about them, right? Do things in your life that are positive so that you can send some good vibrations out there in the world.
That's important. I had the conversation with my son last week about being a young teenager, being able to express himself and being open to share things that might not be easy to talk about, within himself, with growing pains, and I told him that as a father, it's important that he should be able to talk to me, but if he can't, his mom, his aunts, cousins, friends, there's always a lot of outlets. There's, we come from the same family. We have a big family of people who actually care, love us, and are supportive to us. So that's something that I needed to remind him about, that that no matter how hard it feels, trust yourself to be open, and ask for help if you need it. Listen, we all need help. We need a hand. We need a piece of advice. It's not only from our children. It's from an adult perspective.
Yeah.
No one should feel too proud to ask for an ear.
Yeah.
For a talk.
Right. Yeah. And that's something. And here we are in Women's History Month, right? And shout out to all our wonderful women in our family. We love you. But the facts are that a lot of our young men, and if you consider a lot of the depression and suicide in our country, a lot of our young men are really struggling with this because we struggle with it in silence, right? We don't want to open up. We don't want to share, right? We don't know how to. And so many of the messages that we're getting, whether it's in mainstream media or social media, it's saying that be a tough guy, be a tough guy. You gotta act a certain way. You gotta be a certain way. You gotta treat people a certain way. And it's not true. It's not true. And again, I go back to Goggins, right? And I go back to what you're doing. He's such a tough dude. He's a former Navy SEAL. He's running 100-mile races, 100 miles plus. He's doing God knows how many push-ups and pull-ups over the course of the day. But this book is not about how tough he is. And I actually saw an interview with some other former Navy SEALs that don't like him too much. And Goggins admits that. The other Navy SEALs don't like him too much. Yeah. And they're kind of getting on him a little bit because they're talking about how he's kind of putting out there how he's all tough. He's doing all these exercises. He's the hardest worker and everything. And they didn't like that. And I said to myself, you clearly did not read the book. You very clearly did not read the book, because that is not what he's about. What he is about being vulnerable, being honest about all the bullshit that you've gone through in your life, and being true about it and just let it out. If you are struggling with something, be straight up about what you're struggling with, and then figure out how to use that as fuel to move forward with the things that you have to accomplish in your life.
Of course, it's the onset of pain. People don't understand the pain aspect of the thrill of victory, accomplishing. But if you don't do it with any type of struggle, then what is the real victory? When I finished the running, my body went into shock. You know, I was very invisible for the last 48 hours. I started running a little bit yesterday and today, but 24 hours later, I was like in a fog, and I kept telling people, I'm like, am I supposed to feel like this? And it broke me. It broke me, but in a good way. I'm here, I'm healthy, but the mental aspect, it was like something cracked. Like talk about the callus. Like
Yeah.
I have 2 calluses.
Okay.
You know.
So what is the next challenge for you?
Okay. Well, I have a few going on. Well, this month I'm gonna focus more on speed running. So I'm trying to get my pace down. My fastest mile has been about a 7:55 recorded. So I'm trying to work myself more into like an 8-minute, high 7-minute range. So I'm gonna try to increase the speed mileage. That's goal number 1 for me. Second goal is my son. Me and him are gonna start doing some 5Ks together. I want to try to see if I can get him his first 5K by the end of the month. He can do a mile and a half, 2 within 2 or 3 weeks. He's a very good runner.
Okay.
But now that the weather's getting better, I'm gonna focus more on him. My sister-in-law is part of my challenge. Also, she wants to do her first 5K. So so there's certain things of working with people around me. One of my
tribe is growing.
Yeah, my tribe is going. One of my partners with the soon-to-be nonprofit, he has his own personal goal. So the people around me who want to run and want to stay fit, they know I got their back, and I'm gonna just go run with them, help them. So that's goal number 2, and then goal number 3 is I actually started another challenge on March 1st. I didn't announce it because I didn't want to jump from challenges, but I'm in a challenge for it's like a 30-day 1-month fitness challenge, meaning from the beginning of March to the end of March, it's like a body transformation. Go figure. So I'm working with the group from Jersey. They're called DNC Lifestyle. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram. And they have boot camps. They're 2 strong women that I know who are leading the way out there and really pushing a good fitness journey, meal prepping. So they reached out to me. They saw me running, and I'm helping them out with their marketing and stuff. So I'm trying to see where my body can go in 31 days in terms of physique. So I've been working on
yourself beach ready.
Yeah, I'm getting myself beach ready, working on core calisthenics. So I want to see. I mean, I like where I'm at, but hey, 3 more weeks, I might love where I'm at. So
okay,
all right. Body transformation.
Good deal. Good for you.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, right? Would you say, getting back a little bit to the mental health right now, do you feel as if our kids, not our kids, but generally within the country, do you feel our kids are at risk with what's good? And what do you think are the main things that they might be
I think
facing?
these kids, I think a majority of the kids have been out of school for too long. I think when you get these kids behind a classroom in September, the majority of them who won't opt out for remote, I think you're going to see a lot of issues, behavioral, anxiety is going to be a big deal. Some of these kids, I personally know some people who have become like germaphobes. They're very scared to be, just people in general. I think that you're going to just start seeing the anxiety and depression on a different level next year. Family members have been lost, people have lost siblings, and these issues haven't been dealt with. They really haven't. It's not like we've had the time to actually heal from this. We're jumping back into hopefully a more normal situation, but these kids haven't dealt with their problems.
So, it begs the question: how can we teach them to deal with the problems? Because, like we mentioned in the beginning, the problems ain't going away. Life's going to continue hitting hard. I tell my kids all the time, the world ain't getting any easier. It's getting more difficult. It's getting more complicated. So how do we deal with these problems? Right. And to go back to what you're doing with the running, I'm going to ask you this. How many times do you focus on your breathing?
My breathing is everything right now. My breathing is number 1. The way I breathe, 2 weeks before the Goggins challenge, I was watching YouTube and downloading, running files on how to just improve my posture, improve my technique, my running, because my breathing has been very good in terms of being able to go from 1 mile to 8 miles, but everything is form, everything is technique. Breathing, if you don't breathe right, you cannot become a good runner.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like every breath that I take when I'm a runner, the form that I'm going through, it's a process. It's a learning curve. But I want to say the last 3 weeks, I've improved so much, about 30% as a runner, that I've gained a lot of confidence on how far I can actually go. And I think with the breathing improves the overall workflow of everything you do.
Yeah.
Everything. You could be at a computer and you could be working and your posture could be a mess, and you could be, what they say, like there's certain professions in life that hinder your health. And and being a graphic designer for 15 years,
Sitting a lot.
and let me tell you something, sitting a lot, heart disease, heart failure, stress, strokes, I think I've breathed new life just being on my feet for 12 months. I think I bought 5 years because I was always drinking coffee, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trying to beat the deadline, getting having Pepsi, whatever it is. And it's just like, oh God, I'm sitting all day. Now I'm active. So it changes things. It changes things.
Yeah. So again, I'll allude to another book, Understanding Our Minds. And the thing that I keep coming back to it, the reason I ask about breathing is because it talks a lot about meditation. And I'm not going to sit here and say that everyone's got to meditate for a certain, amount of minutes or hours every single day. But I do think it's something that we should be teaching our young people in schools, how to meditate.
How to meditate.
Right? We talk about students that are, for lack of a better term, troublemakers in school, and we punish them by putting them in detention or putting them in timeout. And really, if we just taught them how to meditate a little bit and focus on their breath, everything would just get so much better. And one of the lines I like the most is he says, by focusing on your breath, it just brings your mind back to your body. Like so often our mind is somewhere else. We're thinking about something else. We're worried. We're stressed. And just by simply focusing on your breath, and all you have to do is say, and I'm quoting the book here, I acknowledge that I'm breathing in, like I'm paying attention to my breath as it comes in, and I'm paying attention to my breath as it goes out. And just simply do that as often as you can, no matter what you're doing. And for you, it's running, could be sitting, could be doing the dishes, could be walking, whatever. Just simply pay attention to your breath. Nobody has to be an expert in it, but it helps. It helps to simply clear up that fog that's in our brains, and start putting better things out there in the world.
I think, what I'm saying, when kids go back to school next year, especially, young adolescent, young teenagers, kids in high school, it would be nice if, you work in a public school setting, right?
Yeah.
It would be nice if, if public schools sacrifice 1 hour a day. I don't know what the least important subject is, but give 30, 35 minutes to mental health. It would be amazing if you sat and you had juniors working with freshmen, like a Big Brother program sometimes when you go into high school, and just create some talking outlets, be able to have some type of interconnection where people can just express things, do stuff more online, set up buddy chats. There's certain things that that can be put into place, but sometimes I don't know how much the school system actually really cares about those things. And it's a big thing, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when someone goes to school next year and they can't sit down because they're nervous? You're gonna punish them? You're gonna put them in detention, suspend them? I mean, they've been out of school for a year. What do they expect it to feel like?
And again, this goes back to some of the struggles that we have in our inner city communities that are young, and it's mostly people of color. It's not only people of color. I would say really it's a socioeconomic problem, right? But unfortunately, in most of our inner city communities, it's minorities, right? Our young boys, and again, this is not to say it's only young boys, it's girls as well, but a lot of our young boys, they're being thought of as troublemakers because they're active, they want to move around, or maybe they're just nervous, right? They're kicked out of class. They're put in detention, which means they're missing content, which means they're not scoring as well on test. And, so they're just simply falling behind. And then they get punished for falling behind. And then they get upset. They feel as if people are not paying attention to them, and it's just a repetitive cycle. It comes back to the better answer is love. We have to show love. And that's not something that educators like to talk about a lot. Like how do you tell your students you love them? It's kind of like almost a word you're not really supposed to say. Sorry, I've been saying it in my classroom for 11 years now. I think, one of the first things I tell all of my students is, hey, we're here in the class together for a full year, and we're spending a lot of time together. I love you. Simple as that, right? Sometimes I see those kids more than I see my own kids, right? Yeah. It's okay. There ain't nothing wrong with it, right? And a couple of weeks ago, I had a former student of mine on here in the podcast, and the relationship that we built in our class was so strong that now he's willing to come on here and talk to me about things and talk about coaching basketball, and essentially, I don't want to say I'm a mentor to him, but hey, I'm an older guy. He's a younger guy, right? So, and I love him. He's a great dude, and just, again, nothing wrong with it. The solid relationships, trust. That's it, man. That's it. It's simple answers. Again, I don't have. Sometimes I feel like I get frustrated. Like we think that we have to have like this perfect solution.
No, there's no perfect solution.
There's no perfect solutions. Just keep moving forward. Keep trying to improve on yourself. Don't knock anyone that is trying to improve on themselves. Let me tell you, that's something that really pisses me off. Like when people, are trying to improve themselves and then they get made fun of for how they look or something like that, or how they're struggling. Man, come on. Like if you're making fun of other people, you're insecure about yourself. Flat out.
Self-improvement is frowned upon.
Yeah.
People on the outside, when you start improving and you start isolating, working on yourself, a lot of people start looking at you different. They call you certain things behind your back. And listen, at the end of the day, you can't worry about those things,
Yeah.
Bettering yourself should never come with criticism.
That's it. So I want to say thank you to the people that are watching. I really appreciate you guys being here with us. If you have anything you want to say to chime in on the conversation, I probably should have thrown that out there a while ago. I apologize. But, the one thing that I want to let people know is that I'm going to be here. I don't really even know what I'm doing with this yet. I'm just going to be here. And I know that I got a lot more to give. There's not a lot that I can do. I'm not a super intelligent dude, but I can speak, I can listen, I can let you know that I understand. I have some compassion for the struggles that people are going through. And I want to hear what others have to say, how they're leading, how they're, trying to help with whatever situation they're going through. I'm going to be here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And if it changes, I'll let you know. Who knows? Because life happens. My kids are in sports and all that. So if it changes, I'll let you know. But I'm going to be here. So if you have something to say or you want to join, let us know. And on that note, looks like we do have one. We got Lee. What's up? Thank you for joining. Happy to see you back on the platform. So Lee's someone that knows the Can't Hurt Me book very well. That's how we connected with this. And she is, Lee, if I'm correct, doing the Go Ruck challenges. Peter, I don't know if you know, but Go Ruck, it's go back to the military. It's like the rucksacks, ruck marches, where you just kind of put a heavy backpack on and you just go with it. So she's been enjoying that. I've been seeing her Instagram posts. A lot of good stuff that's happening out there. And I'm not even going to be ashamed to say my mom's is on. What's going on, Ma? How are you? So thanks for joining. Appreciate you. But yeah, so we'll be here and every Wednesday. Peter, I thank you very much. And we're going to close this out again with choosing one of the 7 core values from the Army, seeing which one resonates with you today. Yeah, Lee's making fun of me. She's aw, mom's on. But dude, thank you very much. And again, like you got me back on this, you
You're
know,
welcome. I'm
and there
glad.
ain't no stopping now. My son even got me on TikTok the other day.
I'm on TikTok too. That's coming soon.
I thought it was so silly. I can't believe how much time people spend on TikTok.
Yeah.
But simply put, like I'm just throwing like little 30-second messages out there and
Mhm.
just letting it go and having some fun with it. So just, you got me going and there ain't no stopping me now because I'm pissed. I'm pissed about where our world is going, what's going on with our kids. Um, and I'm tired of waiting on other people to handle it because I know I got what it takes to handle it. And everyone out there, and I'm gonna even call some people out, like Joel Osteen, you're on notice because I can't stand the fact that you're living in like a 47-room mansion and you got your platform. Can't
You see what
stand.
he's driving?
Was he driving?
Like a Lambo, Ferrari?
My God, I mean, come on, man, come on. Like you people are on notice. I'm sorry, I'm on my way. You're on notice. So I have 5 listeners right now, but it's nothing but up from here on, and I'm okay saying it because ain't nothing stopping me. I'm pissed. But this is me just kind of throwing it out there. I'm gonna keep digging down to the depths and darkness of my stuff, and there ain't no stopping us.
The one thing I want to I don't want to use the word criticize, but I want to point out, the same way you said about Joel Osteen. We got to take a look at our local politicians, people who are in charge of certain offices that should be trying to help our youth. A lot of politicians and people who have political inspiration, they like to make a lot of empty promises. They like to say that they're going to put programs together, youth centers, and just do so
Mhm.
many things that never transpire into anything. And there's no need to rely on these people anymore. If you take more things into action on a personal level and get a community of people who actually want to bring change, like yourself, you know, you can make a lot of difference through a podcast, through people who want to organize events and volunteer their time. 10 kids might lead to 20, 20 leads to 100. And the people who are being paid to take care of the communities, I don't really think they're as needed as much as individuals like us.
Absolutely.
We're important.
Absolutely. Completely agree. Yeah. Each and every single one person is very important. Peter, I tell you, man, you got to start with reading the books, right? Because you're touching on a lot of stuff that's in here, right?
Yeah, I got a lot of books. We're gonna that book club. Remember, you gotta let them know
Yeah,
what's
no
coming.
doubt, no doubt. We're gonna be starting hopefully the book club soon, man. I wish there were more hours in the day. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm working morning to night right now, but what you're saying is, what's inside of you is inside of everyone else as well. I'm a part of you, you're a part of me, right? We're all connected. There's an interconnected reality to our world. And that's something that it's my favorite Martin Luther King quote that not a lot of people say. I can't be the best I ought to be until you're the best you ought to be. And you can't be the best you ought to be until I'm the best that I ought to be. So there's a connection between that. So as I improve myself, other people improve themselves. And as each and every one of us improves ourselves, we keep putting it out there for everyone else to keep following that same pattern, that same positive mindset, right? Oh, we got more. Well, let's see what we got here.
I'm good. We can keep this going.
This my pops is on.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
I think this might be the first time I have my mom and dad in the same place in a while. What's going on, parents? How are you? We'll get Taisha on here one time, right? Yep, we got to do it. And Louis, we got to get Louis Salgado on. He'll definitely have a lot to say. Look, we'll make it a family. We'll make it a family affair. That's all good because, I don't know if you guys could see, I got the Boricua flag in the background, right? And that's something I've been thinking a lot about. Like as we talk about our minorities in our country, us Puerto Ricans, we got to start stepping up and speaking up because we're the ones that, we know we have our citizenship, right? Like we are citizens of the United States. And there are a lot of other people that are struggling with that don't feel as if they can speak up because it's something that's not not right for them. Like they don't have the courage to do that because they feel they might get in trouble.
Mhm.
But we got to speak up. Simple as that. Anyone who can, we have to start speaking up.
Absolutely.
And we are going to. All right. PR all the way. Absolutely. All right, bud. So here we go. Pick your value for the day.
I like selfless service. My commitment, and let me tell you something. I want to give a shout out to not name dropping, but I met someone on Facebook who kind of like inspired me, along the way, and was always commenting on my journey. And certain people be like, "Oh, I'm saying a prayer for you, for your health, for your to be able to complete this." And then there's some people who told me that they started running because of me doing 2 miles, and you know, it's amazing that I was able to do the Goggins thing, but I actually had someone who was inspired by me complete it from a different state. And I was like, wow, they did it through running and biking. And, they thanked me. And I said to myself, I helped you. Like, like I'm a nobody. Like I said to myself, but it's good to feel that you push someone to get to that level. Yeah. So, to me, in terms of selfless service, if you ask for my help, I'm going to help you. Pretty much. If your intent is pure and you want to improve your life, I answer all questions online. If you want a tip on how to run, on how to breathe, what sneakers you want to wear, I'll take 5 minutes out of my day to answer a question. But in terms of self-improvement, I'm not making money off of this. This is my journey, and if you want to join me, you want to help, and you want to start your running journey, ask me. I'll help you.
And that's something that when we started this, Michelle and I spoke about a lot. It ain't about money. It's about simply putting the right thing out there, putting a positive message out there, planting seeds in people's heads, and then hopefully just watering that seed with positivity so that it grows.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I had a conversation with my son earlier today, so I'm going to choose honor.
Okay.
And I'm going to choose that word because there are people that have come before us that have sacrificed so much. And Mom, Dad actually spoke about you guys earlier today because had a little heart to heart with one of your grandkids today, and I let them know that the situation that we're in, with all the opportunities that we have, we are here because of the sacrifices that people have made before us, and even going before my parents to their parents before them, and so on. We stand on the shoulders of all of our ancestors going way back. And we have the opportunities now before us today where we have in our hands and in our fingers all the knowledge that there has ever been compiled. And we have a responsibility to take that and move it forward and push it forward and keep doing better and evolving. And that's why a mind once opened evolved, which is our tagline. That's the next step in evolution, to evolve our minds, to master our minds, right? And we have that responsibility. So we have to honor our ancestors and all the people that have come before us and all the sacrifices that they have made. And we have to do that by keep improving on our own stuff and not quit, right? I know my pops is probably thinking to himself, I probably watch too much TV, probably eat too much pizza, right? All those things, all true, right? But we improve on those things and we get better and we keep figuring out how to improve on our lives. Here we go. Taisha's on with us. Ripples always reach someone. That's it. That's what it's about. Mm-hmm. Right? We get better. Well, everyone, thank you very much. I appreciate you all being here. Peter, thank you again, man. That's 3 now, right?
Yeah.
We got 3.
Real nice. Listen, we're gonna do this again. I'm always available. And like I said, I got some ideas for the next few ones that we do.
Well, let's get some more people on here with us.
Yeah, right? Definitely.
If you want to join us, all you got to do is reach out to us on any one of these platforms that I'm on. Right there, you go. Mm-hmm. And where can people find you? I'll put this on here real quick.
Well, I'm on Facebook, graphic runs, and then on Instagram, just graphics underscore. And like I said, definitely share, repost the podcast. You
Is
know,
it GRAFIC runs?
GRFXZRUNS on Facebook.
Okay. Make sure I got that.
Yep.
That's it, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So you can follow me on any of those platforms. You can follow Peter at Graphic Runs. Check us out. Let us know if you want to join us. Let's get the conversation going. We can have up to 10 people on here having a conversation. It'd be great to make sure we can get as many people on as we can. Yes, I know, Pops. Pizza is the enemy, but it tastes so good. Damn, I can't help it. I haven't had any in a while. So things are moving in the right direction for me.
Awesome.
I'm happy about that. But he's gonna call me after this and then go on a tirade. I know it. All right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. We're coming on an hour. That you can check this out on Facebook or YouTube. Please share it. Let people know. We're happy to get people on here. We want teachers, leaders, coaches, mental health professionals, anyone that can push us in the right direction. And it's just the beginning. We got plenty of time to keep growing. Look out. All right, man. Thank you very much. Be well.
Take care.
You running tomorrow?
Absolutely. Running in weights. I'll keep you guys on my journey for this one, and hopefully I'll see you guys within a week or two.
All right, man. All right.
Take care.
Be well. See you, everyone. Take care.
Yeah.